Hello, how's it going? So, today I'm going to discuss why, after 1000 miles, I've changed my training system from the MAF training system, that's MAF, to a different system. Um, I want to add to the running conversation and give my thoughts and opinions, and hopefully, you find it interesting and get some sort of value out of it. Um, Without further ado, here are 5 reasons why I no longer train by the MAF training system. So reason number one is quite simply I needed to change. After, like I said earlier, I've done over 1,000 miles doing MAF training, and it's purely running slow, relatively slow to yourself, keeping the heart rate below 180 minus your age, and it was okay for a while because I enjoyed running enough to just be able to go out there and run at a steady pace. But after a while, I just really wanted to vary it up and include some stuff like intervals, which are shorter, faster stuff. Most of you probably know that, but just in case there's a few people who aren't familiar, tempo runs. What else? Well, yeah, just a general variety. It's nice to go quicker. It's nice to change up the pace. It's just nice to switch things up and add more variety into the training. It's bringing a new lease of life into my running, and yeah, I'm enjoying it more right now after switching from slow to some faster stuff. Reason number two was I made the biggest improvements of my running career when I varied it up, when I was adding lots of variety in. That was between the time when I done the half marathon. I'd stopped for a couple of years and then started training again. That 6 month period, whilst when I restarted to the marathon, was when I made the huge, most substantial gains in running performance. During that training, my main focus was to try and get as many miles as I could in, while also adding a little bit of speed in there. There wasn't really anything structured, but one day I might try and run 5k as quick as I can, another 10 miles as fast as I can. And for example, I'd try and keep up with someone on a bike who was gradually getting quicker and quicker, which was pretty fun. But yeah, so the point is, the majority of my training was steady pace, and there was some faster stuff mixed in there, some random faster stuff. General high mileage relative to myself, and the result was I've, like I said, made the biggest improvements I've ever made and hit a marathon PR which was way above my expectations. So yeah, it worked well before. It worked a lot better than just purely running at a steady pace. So that's another reason. Reason number three is I see quicker changes. If I include some quicker stuff, within a few weeks I see my slow paces increasing as well as the whole spectrum of efforts. All paces tend to decrease in time and increase in speed. Now, the reason this is quite important for me is that I can get more miles in for the same amount of training time, which tells me I'm getting more bang for my buck. I'd rather be running 5 more miles in a week for the same period of time than 5 less. Of course, this is just maybe just a personal thing for me, but that's reason number three. Reason number four, I believe to transition to quicker paces eventually when the fitness improves, it's going to help a lot to have spent some time already in those paces. For example, if I just run 1,000 miles at 10-minute mile pace, it's going to be harder to transition to a 8-minute mile pace, 9, 7, because my muscles, tendons, ligaments, my body in general is not accustomed to running at those paces. However, if I run 800 miles at 10-minute mile pace and the remaining 200 miles I spread out with a variety of intervals and tempos, different efforts, which could be 7, 8-minute and 9-minute mile paces, maybe 6 on really short intervals, then it's going to be much easier to transition that pace of my body to the higher paces once the fitness is there, the aerobic fitness. You might call it the engine, the heart, the lungs, the general system. It's going to be easier to transition if I've already spent a lot of time adapting my body to running at those paces beforehand, before the necessary fitness was there to sustain it. That's reason number 4. Reason number 5 ties directly into number 2, in which one of the main arguments against this MAF training is it's mainly used for professionals and it benefits beginners the most. No. One of the main arguments against MAF training is professionals train high intensity quite often, 20% of the time, and for beginners, MAF training is quite appropriate for developing the right systems to make the largest gains. However, I'm kind of intermediate, I think, and I've saw runners who are also at a similar level to me, which was, I was probably about a 23 minute 5k. I didn't really get a good PR, let's just say 23. And I've saw runners who are at a similar level to me over the course of less than 12 months make substantial gains to the point where they're just over 20 minutes. Now, these runners didn't do all their running at a slow pace. I'm pretty sure it fell more into the 80-20 kind of principle, in which at least once a week, maybe twice, they would be doing one quality session, which is faster stuff, tempos, intervals, that kind of thing. And they've made larger gains than me. And yes, I've been injured, but I still feel like it's very substantial. Like I said, it's tied into reason 2. I made the largest improvements in my running when I included some speed stuff. That's reason number 5. So that concludes all 5 reasons. What's my training system now? Generally, I still complete most of my runs at below 180 minus my heart rate, keeping the heart rate nice and steady. However, once, maybe twice a week, I want to get one quality session in where I do some faster stuff, and yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a lot, and I feel like I'm making larger improvements again. So yeah, this isn't to knock the training system. I just think it doesn't work as well as I had hoped for myself, and yeah, here's why I'm switching it up after giving it a good test. I still hold a lot of the principles, such as keeping the heart rate steady, and you could argue that 80% of the runs are MAF, but is that really MAF, or is it just easy running? Is that just not always the original term? Maybe it's possible that I just took this advice to the extreme and ran slowly too much. I've saw some guys talk about it, and the way they talk about it is you're better off just running all of your miles easy and doing no speed work. And I think that largely depends upon maybe you and your genetics as a runner. If you're predominantly slow twitch, maybe this is a really effective, powerful way for you to make improvements. However, I guess if your genetics are a little different, maybe a little bit of speed work might help. Maybe it's a faster twitch thing. I'm not really sure, but what I am going off is how my body's responded and the lack thereof improvements. I think there's been some permanent positive changes in the strength of the body for running long distance, but it's time to move on. That's my thoughts on it. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully see you in the next one.